In this video, we'll be replacing the electrical harness of the bike. Remove the rear tail fender with the 4 screws attaching it from the bottom. We're doing this to gain access to the wire arm that connects to the light box. You can disconnect the light box, leaving just the remaining wire coming out the bike. Fish out all the connecting wires inside the bike and disconnect them. The wire for the rear tail line is then pulled out from the midsection of the bike. To remove the main harness, you'll need to undo the sleeves that tidy up the wires in front of the bike. After removing the sleeves, you can cut off all the zip ties tying the main harness to all the additional cables. Remove the remaining cable sleeves via the zipper and then detaching them. Remove all remaining zip ties. Unplug the main harness from the brake sensor, throttle and display. Unplug the headlights as well as the speaker and the master controller. This all connects to the master controller harness. The master controller wire harness has three red ports as well as 1 black port. The black port being for the master controller and the 3 red ports being for the speaker as well as the 2 headlights. The main wiring harness is identified by a green wire port for the display as well as 3 additional yellow ones. All 3 wiring harnesses work together to form one big network in the bike, where we have the main harness connecting to the master controller harness, then connecting to the light box harness going all the way up to the tail light. So in the end, all 3 of these harnesses will connect together. The main harness connecting to the master controller harness and the master controller harness connecting to the light box harness. On the wiring harness itself, we have the display port, 2 brake sensor port and the throttle port. The speed sensor routes from the back wheel out through into the bike. This is where it will connect to the controller, which is connected to the motor itself. The rear light harness will go down the C-tube into the wiring box. To route the rear light harness to the back of the bike, first fish a wire or one of the other additional wiring harness through the bike and then tape it to the rear light harness. Then it can be pulled through the bike and out the other side and then untaped. After getting the wire through the bike, the light box can be reconnected and the tail fender can be reinstalled. Make sure to reconnect the light box and neatly tuck away the wire into the gap. To install the remaining harness, we'll start with the master controller harness and tuck it down into the bike and pull it out from the midsection of the bike where the wire box is. To install the main harness, be sure to tape the 2 wire ends together to make sure it slides through the bike much easier. It can be slid down the same pathway into the wire box as the master controller harness. All the wires will join up into the wire box of the bike at the bottom. Here you can remove the tape and connect up all the joining wires. The master controller harness will join to the main harness. This is how the brake sensor communicates to the harness within the bike. Then the master controller harness can also be joined to the rear light box through the light box harness. For the main harness, you can plug back in the brake sensor, speed sensor, display and throttle. For the master controller harness, the long wire with the black port will plug into the master controller. The male port will plug into the speaker and the two female ports will plug into the headlights. After joining up all the harnesses, we can tuck away the excess wire and reinstall the wire sleeves. To install the wire sleeves, we want to tidy up the cables with zip ties first to make sure that the cable sleeves are installed with ease.